All right, Mrs. Wilson is partially in her lay box, so we're going to check and see if there are any eggs to be found. It would be a little early because she shed only like 3 days ago, and usually they shed, which is called their pre-lay shed, about 7 to 10 days before they lay the eggs. So let's see. Nothing yet. All right, we'll check back later. Any eggs from Mrs. Wilson today? Oh, no, not with that fat belly. Hello? Hello, Cheyenne. How about tonight? Your head is poking out. Does that mean anything? I don't see anything yet, but she has been digging around quite a bit, so I'm gonna have to check in the morning. But I'll leave you alone for now. Good luck. Alright, it's the next morning. Have you laid eggs? You're still fat, so I don't think you have. You were just psyching me out last night, weren't you? Alright, how about tonight? Oh, wow. You've been busy renovating inside there, haven't you? That could be a good sign. Alright, let's see. Nothing yet. Alright, Mrs. Wilson, the legless lizards and I wish that you start laying your eggs. Man, you just have barricaded yourself. Oh. Oh, is that what I think it is? It sure is. Alright, I will leave you alone. I don't want to bug you. Well, it's been about 6 hours since she started, maybe even a little bit longer. So she very well could be done at this point. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, do you still have some in you too? Yeah, guys, she is still laying, I think. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 eggs so far. Well, you know, I was planning on putting the eggs in here for incubation, assuming she was done, but I don't want to interrupt her, because if you do that, then sometimes the snake will get spooked and stop laying, and when they start again, they become egg-bound. So we are going to continue leaving her alone, I guess. Let's see what's going on in here. By the way, her lay box is simply just a black cave that's flipped upside down with a piece of corrugated plastic just cut to size and attached with these little paper clips. It works really well, and it's a nice cheap lay box that also doubles as a hide afterwards. You ready for this? Oh man, I'm so excited. What have we got? Oh, you're still laying. All right, how many do you have left? It looks like you might have 2 left. How many do you have here? 1, 2, 3. I see 19 so far. Jesus. All right, well, since you still have a couple, I don't want to bug you, so I guess I'll just leave you alone a little bit longer. It's the following morning, so I think she should be done, maybe. Hi, cutie. I know you're so adorable just poking your little head out. What have we got going? Oh, man, you still have one right here. And there's one over here that's a little squished looking. So this is kind of why I wanted to take them out last night. But here, I also didn't want to stress her out. Let's take a quick look here. Man, we've got tons of little eggs. But if you look at this, she still has one in there, but it has been quite a while, so she's probably going to need some help in getting that one out. This is going to be interesting. Well, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these eggs just to get them out of here, get them in incubation, and then we will figure out what to do with her remaining eggs here. And by the way, in the wild, bull snakes will lay their eggs and they'll leave them. They won't stay with them. She's just in here because it's nice and warm. So she will not be missing these eggs at all. And she's also probably still in here because she still has a couple eggs that we're going to take care of later here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to make little divots inside of this perlite for each of the eggs so I can just plop them right on in. And we actually did an experiment with perlite versus vermiculite, and you can use, because people will use either one of these incubation materials, and the experiment we did last year was with a different bullsnake of ours where we split up her clutch between the perlite and the vermiculite to see if there would be any different hatch rates between the two, and the results showed us, it's actually this video right here, and the results showed us that you can use either one, but we tend to prefer the perlite because it makes a slightly less mess than the vermiculite does. It's also convenient because once the babies hatch, the shell can be rinsed off a little bit easier from the perlite than the vermiculite, and I like to give people eggshells when I go do their birthday party, or if somebody buys a snake, I'll usually try to give them the eggshell that came with the snake. Before I take these eggs out, I'm going to mark their verticalmost point so that if they happen to move in my hands, I can still maintain the orientation by knowing which side goes up. Basically, after the first 24 hours, the embryo will attach to the side of the egg, and after that point, you don't want to rotate the egg or the embryo could drown in its own fluids. So we're going to take these out, set them in, and I'm also going to have to peel apart these eggs because they are stuck together by an adhesive that is created by the snake. So we're just going to slowly peel these apart and place them in their incubation trays. Now, the reason the eggs are stuck together, and there's actually an adhesive here, is there's actually a couple of reasons why. First off, by being stuck together like this, the eggs are more likely to maintain that original orientation and less likely to roll around since they're all stuck together. Second, if part of the clutch is warm and part of the clutch is cool, the heat will actually transfer through the eggs where they attach to the other side, and it will stabilize their overall incubation temperature. I could keep them together like this if I wanted, but from what I've read and from what I've heard, you have a slightly better hatch rate if you do split them up. That way everything can stay as uniform as possible during incubation. Well, this group of eggs may be stuck a little bit too well together for me to pull apart, so I think I am going to leave this clump together actually. We're just going to set them right in incubation. Since they're stuck so well, I don't want to risk ripping anything by pulling them apart, so yeah, I guess I'll make an exception and I'll just leave these together. This is a tiny little egg, look at that. Ah, and here, the squished one. Here we have what is called a slug in the reptile world. This is an infertile egg, and you can tell it's infertile because compared to a healthy fertile egg, it's darker in color, it's pretty yellow, it's also smaller, and it's squishy. Usually they're not this squishy. Usually they're pretty well inflated, but they have pointed ends. But this one's just a really unique slug, I guess. But regardless, it's not fertile, it's not going to hatch, so we are going to probably just feed it to my alligator, to be honest. In the meantime, we don't want to be ignoring these eggs, so I'm going to write down the date that they were laid, and we're going to put them in incubation. To incubate these eggs, I'm going to place them in our handy-dandy green tree python room since it's heated. We actually have a pair of Beox together right now, but it looks like he's pouting. He doesn't really appreciate having a girlfriend. Anyway, we're going to take our heat gun. That's 87. You want the eggs to be incubated in the mid-80s. And there's risk incubating too hot, or more risk incubating too hot than too cold. So I think I'm going to try to keep them at 83, 82. I think that'll work. Yeah, that'll work just fine. So we're going to set them right on top of this Exoterra, I guess. Close it completely, Emily. And our eggs are all set. Well, after about 24 hours being stuck with those last 3 eggs near her vent, we decided that we had to go in there and we had to assist her in laying those eggs. There's a short time frame or a short period where eggs will actually die inside of the mother if they're not laid within that time frame, and we're kind of cutting our losses for the eggs, but we had to save Mom and make sure that she was safe and she was okay. We're pretty sure that she just
expelled all of her energy on the first 22 eggs, 23 if you include the slug, and she had no energy left for the last 3 eggs. So we had to go in, and Ed and I together were able to, it took a little while, but we got the last 3 eggs out. Here's 2 of the 3. One of them we got out yesterday, and we thought maybe she'd be able to get the last 2 out after that, but she did not. So we went in today. We were able to get these 2 out. One of them popped. So she's actually over there in a betadine bath to flush everything out in her vent area. And this one, we might just, we might incubate just for kicks and giggles. We'll see what ends up happening. Anyway, what came in most handy was a 3 ml syringe and a feeding needle. This is not an actual needle, it's hollow. It's used to feed our egg-eating snake babies, actually. And what we did was we extracted some mineral oil from here and inserted it through the vent into the area where the eggs were sitting to try to lube them up a little bit. And we were hoping that it would create kind of like, as my friend Chad so nicely puts it, a slip and slide on the way out. But unfortunately that didn't work. She still wasn't able to do it on her own. So then we went in and we used some other tools, and we actually used this to kind of help maneuver them out. And eventually we got them out, thankfully. So the moral of the story is, if you are going to breed snakes or you're currently breeding snakes, make sure you have on hand, because these were our lifesavers. Have mineral oil, which you can buy at any pharmacy. Have a syringe, a 1 ml or 3 ml if you have a bigger snake. And most importantly, have a feeding needle. This is a 16 gauge feeding needle that we got from a squirrel rehabilitator, and I'll put a link to where to buy it in the comments. These were fantastic to have on hand, and I don't know what we would have done if we did not have these, because our vet was closed by the time that we realized she needed help, and it was a Saturday night, so they were going to be closed the next day as well. So we were kind of on our own, but we did it thanks to your help. Thank you, Ed.
What can I say? But
we need to stay positive despite all that hassle, and this was the most hectic bull snake or any snake laying experience ever. Despite all of that, we need to focus on the positive. We have 22 awesome looking eggs that are fertile, and we're gonna try this one. We'll see what happens. I doubt anything's gonna happen. So we're gonna say we have 22 eggs, and we are really looking forward to seeing them hatch, because there's a huge variety of morphs that they could be.
What's all the morphs they can be?
They could be, with Dad being a hypoalbino, het whiteside, and axanthic, and Mom being a triple het, axanthic, whiteside, and albino. We could get a huge combination of the two. We could get albinos, whitesides, axanthics, then we could get snows, we could get white-sided snows or white-sided axanthics or white-sided albinos. Everything will be het hypo because Dad, and at least het albino because Dad is hypo and albino. Oh, I can't wait for this clutch to hatch. When they start hatching, I will let you know. We'll do a live egg cutting, but that will be around 55 days from now. Today's the 5th, so, oh, math. Mid-June? Anyway, we will be keeping you updated on the YouTube community page, the Twitter account, and the Facebook page to let you all know when the eggs start hatching so that you can join us during that live egg cutting. That'll be like Christmas in June. I can't wait. We'll see you then. Hello. I didn't even know you were gravid. I didn't think it took. I guess we have more eggs. And we have one final bull snake clutch from Brad. Good job, Mama. There's the second half. We are going to be up to our ears in bull snakes in 6 weeks. It looks really orange right here. Here, Rex, take care of this. Well, he caught it. Oh, now you realize you have it.